Okay. Story time. Wait. I'm gonna punch you in the face. Anyway, okay. So, Delaney came here Thursday? Anyway, Victoria had school on the day. Yeah, it was Monday. Victoria had school on Monday. So, we couldn't go until she got out. And me, being the nice person that I am, I asked her if she wanted to bring her friend, who she did not ask. Shh. Being that I guess scalpers bought all the tickets and put them on StubHub. I mean, and they were like ridiculous. Because it was like 3 hours before this concert, and there were tickets on StubHub for like $6. So I bought a ticket for her friend. So it ended up being Victoria, her friend Sandra, me, and Delaney. And we had to go downtown, and there was a lot of traffic by the time we left, which was like 4. With Texas weather, but it's really hot here right now. It's really hot in general, I guess. But it's like 95 here right now. So it was not fun standing out there in the heat. Because we got there, and there was a line at the box office, but it wasn't that long. It really wasn't that long, and I was like, well, that's shocking, because Delaney said that people had been there since 7 a.m. Oh, okay, so while we were waiting for Sandra, I saw Ricky. Yeah, Ricky was walking by handing out postcards, and he was like dressed up in like this and a blue shirt, and I was wearing my Apocalyptor tank top. And he saw me, and he was like, hey, nice colors, we kind of match. And I was gonna be like, well, yeah, you sold me this one, so we should match. But instead, he's really hot, and I just kind of was like, yeah, yeah, okay, alright, yeah. But then, so I was just kind of trying to be like, hi, Ricky, and it didn't really work, because he was like in mode. So he was just walking, and it just turned into a whole clusterfuck of awkward. Oh, and Ricky was like, by the way, if you wanna, we're selling Darren Criss merchandise inside. If you want to go and look and have somebody save your place in line. He was telling everybody that. He didn't tell us that. I mean, he did, but not really. So when Sandra got there, Victoria doesn't like the heat, especially. So she was like, can I go in and look at merch? And I was like, okay. But I wanted to find my merch mat, and I don't know why. But Victoria was like, oh, okay, well, I'll go see if merch mat is in there. Really, she wanted to go in. So they went in, and they came back like 5-10 minutes later, and Victoria was like, yeah, there's a line inside already. Like, this isn't the line. There's a line inside, up and down stuff, but if you spend $20 in this restaurant that's attached to the House of Blues, I guess, it's part of the House of Blues. Is the House of Blues? I don't know. If you spend $20 in the restaurant, there's a thing up there that says you can you can get a special pass and go to this line that's inside. So I was like, yes, that's what we want to do. Okay. And we ran inside, and I went to the hostess stand, and I was just like, there was a big sign that had this on it. And it was like, skip the line, spend $20 in here, and skip the line. And I was like, we want to do that. Like, I just pointed to the sign. We want to do this. And she was like, okay, do you want a table? And I was like, yeah, okay, let's go. And she was like, well, it'd be about 40 minutes. And I was like, that's not going to help me. And she was like, oh, well, you can spend $20 in the merch store in, like, the house. Because the House of Blues, I guess, is kind of like Hard Rock Cafe, in which they have like a merchandise store that you can buy souvenirs and stuff. And I was like, okay, all right, yep, that's what we're doing. Okay, go. So I was walking towards the merchandise line, and I'm like, and Victoria's like, sissy, the Darren Criss merch table is behind that too. And I'm like, okay. Anyway, so I was like walking around, and I'm like, okay, go, find something for $20. Go. And Victoria's saying, no, sissy, you have to spend $20 each for each person that you want to go. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. But I'm like looking around, and I'm like yelling, and I'm like, we need to go now, come on, we just need to get in line. So just, So this guy at the register is like, I have pre-made bags if you don't care what you get. And I was like, yes, that's what I want to do. Yep, give it to me now. And he was like, okay, well, you need $20 each. I was like, I'm going to need 4. I'm going to need 4 right now. Go. And he was like, okay. And Victoria called Delaney and Sandra and was like, come on, get in here. And gave him my credit card. And he was like, okay, well, it's a little over 80. There's like an 80-11. I don't care. Just give me the bags. Give me the receipt. Go. The room that we were waiting in was actually the room that Space Tour was in. And it's like this itty-bitty side stage. And I thought it was like legit. Like I thought it was, at the time, I thought it was pretty big. But it's really an itty-bitty tiny room. And I felt so bad because I was like, this is the line we're waiting in to go see Darren Criss. Sad. Anyway. We were doing something and like they were waiting, and so I like walked out to the merch table because here I had it in my mind that I had been emailing Merch Matt about my friend's band, and apparently in my mind I thought that they totally like loved me and knew who I was, and I don't know why. So I'm like walking, and of course I can't really pull that off in real life because I'm freaking awkward and weird. I'm going to go on a little spiel, but Merch Matt and Merch Ricky and that whole team, they're excellent at their job. Like that's what I'm going to preface to this. They are very good at their job. Are you crying?
You asshole.
They are very good at their job. They really are. Like, I will give them that. They are very, very excellent at their job. At Apocalyptor, somehow it happened that I ended up at the merch stand while nobody was there, and I started talking to Merch Matt, and Merch Matt decided to say that he was, because I alluded to the fact that he sounds like Brian Holden, so I asked him if he was related to him, and he was like, oh, no, I get that a lot, though. So excited to see my brother in the show. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, you're Brian Holden's brother. Let me just buy all this shit from you, because, yeah. So I ended up spending like $120 on merch because I thought that he was related to Brian Holden.
I don't admit that.
And it did turn out that I have found out, in fact, that he is not Brian Holden's brother. He has a totally different last name. I don't know why I believe that. And I don't know why I got suckered into it. Probably because he's really hot. But still, this time I was going to be like, no, no, no. Okay? Matt, I have it on good authority that you are not who you say you are, and you are not going to sucker me into buying shit from you. Okay? No, it's not happening. I know who you are, and you know who I am, so we're going to talk, and it's not going to happen. That was what I was going into as. Turned out that did not happen. I walked up to the merch table and I was just like, okay, you're not going to buy anything. You're not going to buy anything. You're just going to get like a sticker. Just make conversation. Just go. And I saw Ricky at the merch stand and I just wanted to be like, thanks a lot for telling us that if we bought stuff, we could skip the line. Jerk. But I can also see that they were competing because the House of Blues was selling stuff, getting people to buy merch stuff to skip the line at a Darren Criss concert. Obviously, I guess Darren Criss's merch people weren't going to promote that, but they should have. Jerks. I'm sorry. Anyway, they should have. So I wanted to be like, thanks a lot, but I didn't because I can't do things in person. I can just make snarky comments on videos and Twitter. So I was just like, okay, hi. Yeah, hi. Hi, Ricky. Hi. Okay. And the girl was just like, I was trying to think of something to say, and then I got up to the line and I was like, oh shit, she expects me to buy something. Okay, the t-shirt. Okay. And she was like, okay, which one? And I was like, the face one, the face t-shirt. Okay. And I'm staring at Matt and I'm like, Matt, hi, I'm Felice, by the way. Like, kind of like, hey, I'm Felice. What did I expect him to do? I don't know. Did I expect him to go, oh, hi, Felice. Yeah, hey, what's up? Yeah, totally. We're totally awesome. Yeah, you're cool. Come back here and hang out with us. I don't know. All he did say was, yeah, I know. I saw you on Twitter. Why? And I was just like, oh, okay, alright, okay, yeah. And then she was like, okay, well, here's your t-shirt. And I was like, okay, thanks. And yeah, and then I looked at the sticker on the t-shirt and it said $30. And I was like, bested me again, Matt. You did it again. Unintentionally, I know. But damn it. I'm gonna make a gif of me going, merch, Matt. Merch. So, long story short, I ended up with this t-shirt. Walked like a few feet, and I saw Corey, and Corey was the only one that we hadn't tweeted the night before about World's Worst Musical being a 1 year. So I wanted to be like, Corey, hi, happy 1 year! But instead I just, and again, I assumed, because every time I go to Chicago, people know who I am, but apparently in my hometown, I'm a nobody. I don't understand how that works. This is why I need to live in Chicago. But anyway, I expected Corey to know who I was. I don't know why. So I was just like, hey, Corey! And he was like, hey! Didn't even stop walking. Okay, alright, yeah. Didn't tell him. And I'm waiting for Victoria in the bathroom, and I just see... This goes back to how good they are at their jobs, okay? I just see Ricky walk out behind the merch stand, and he just stands in front of this, like, crowd of girls who are probably... This line is, like, full of teenage girls and their mothers. And me, obviously. And he just walks out and he goes, hi, guys, hey, what's up? So we just got these posters that we've been selling, but, Darren just signed a pack of these. About 50 of them. And the ink is still wet. The ink is still wet from where he signed it. And we're going to be selling them over here, and it's 50 for the whole show. So, get yours now. And all of a sudden, I just see the entire room just go batshit crazy. They were like, oh my God! And then I hear some girl going, Mom! No, I need that! And I'm just thinking to myself, oh my God. Ricky, really? Really? Like, that was so smart. Ann Arbor Tees. Ann Arbor Tees knows what they're doing. I'm just saying. I could totally work for them. The last time I went to Chicago, the last time I saw Darren live was 3 years ago 2 years? 3 years ago. 2 years ago? 2 years ago in Chicago at Market Days. And it was kind of like the same thing, except that we got there really late and didn't have a Hop the Pass line, and it was this whole clusterfuck of people, and I didn't see him at all, and I just sat in the back in a Darren Criss t-shirt crying. Yeah, that was good times. Anyway, actually, it was good that we did this hop the line thing, because as many people as there were, we actually were pretty close in line. So, we ended up at the very, very front. Like, the very front. On the super duper side. But still, like, I didn't even think we were going to get up front. So, I was pretty good. I was like, alright, yeah. So, we were just standing there, and Delaney's freaking out. Because Delaney didn't even think we were going to get front row. She didn't even think, I don't even know. I know she didn't have high expectations for it either. So, she was like, ridiculously happy. And right, well, and this whole thing, I don't know why. When we first started out, I was a Darren Criss fan before I was a Starkid fan, obviously. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows the story of how the general story of how I came to be a Starkid. And so I know that we came to Starkid through Darren, but for some reason, I wasn't excited. I wasn't as excited to see Darren. I really wasn't. Like, I was just like, Darren, Starkid's not here. I'm sad. Oh, well. It was really weird, too, because I was, like, decked out in Starkid stuff. Like, I had this Apocalypse Tour thing on, and I had Starkid Sunnies, and Oh, and we were waiting in line, and I was listening to Starkid songs as opposed to listening to Darren songs. So I was just like, okay, all right, well. I mean, it was really weird.
Like, half those songs he sang were technically Starkid songs anyway.
Not half of them, like 3 of them.
3 of them, like half of them. Sammy Stutter.
To have a home.
To have a home. Crap. Well, now,
Ranger Danger.
Ranger Danger. Oh, I still think. Well, that's not a Starkid song, but I consider it a Starkid song.
Why do you still? Was it in Little White Lie?
No. I just I think of Starkid when I listen to it. Like
it's a Darren song.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's the same thing. When I used to listen to Starkid songs, that's what I used to listen to that too with Darren songs, like with old Darren songs, not like Glee Darren songs.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know how to process Darren. Because I'm like, do I listen to Glee songs to listen to Darren? Or do I listen to Starkid to listen to Darren? Or do I listen to Darren by himself? I don't know how to classify him anymore. I mean, I don't have a specific Darren Criss playlist. He's always associated with somebody else. So we were just standing there waiting, and this guy, the guard guy, was like, he was of the creepy persuasion, and I tend to know my history with creepy persuasion people, guys. So I'm thinking, oh, and I had this on at this point, so I'm like, oh, well, okay. So I took off this shirt, and I had the tank top on, and I had a very nice shirt on. I had a nice view that I knew creepers did appreciate. No, you can't really see, but I was leaning over, and all of a sudden, I just see him go, well, hi, how old are you? And I was like, 25, and he was like, no, really? And I was like, yeah, and he was like, oh, and he just started looking, and he was like, yeah, I can definitely tell now. And I was like, yeah, and he was like, I just got married, but if I wasn't married, and I was like, oh, God. Why is it why is it that creepy old men will flirt with me incessantly, but Merchmat and Ricky can't? Why can I pull that off? Damn it. Anyway, it didn't work. It didn't work at all. It didn't work in my favor at all. He was just creepy, and I just because he was really creepy, and I was just like, no. Mm-mm. So then the show started, and this guy came out, and I had never heard of Theo Katzman, but he's a pretty good singer. And he's really young. I think he's really young, because he really sounded like Nick Jonas, like a lot. Like, I don't know if that's an insult or not, but he really sounded like Nick Jonas, didn't he?
I got something. I got your
So he got done playing, and then he was like, you ready for Darren Criss? Yeah! Alright! And then the lights came up. Okay. Then I saw this other guy, and he came over, this other bodyguard guy, and he's kind of big and old or younger. And he was like, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, hey. Oh, he was like kind of standing there, and he looked bored, and I was like, you look really bored. And he was like, oh, no, it's just been a long day. And then the drunk guy comes by, and he's like, you cheating on me? And I was like, you're married. And he was like, did he tell you that? Why? Why does this happen? Anyway, so this other guy is like, why? The guy is probably thinking, why are you even hitting on this girl? Are you a pedophile? And then he looks at me and he goes, guess how old she is? And I was like, how old do you think I am? So I was like, how old do you think I am? Yeah. And he was like, I don't know, 15, 16? And he goes, 25. And he looks at me and he goes, what? And I was like, no way. And I was like, yeah, what? I really don't know why I was being, I don't know why this was a good thing. I was just like, yep, I'm in pigtails and a bright pink hat, and I look like I'm 12, but I'm really 25. I don't know why I'm promoting this. And Darren came out, and I just was like, I just didn't know how to process it. I really didn't, because I had never seen Darren that close before. I just never seen him up, and I'd never really I've heard a Darren Criss show, because the last one I didn't see him at all. I just heard. So I was seeing him on stage with a full band in a rock star room. I mean, this place was ridiculous. It had like 1,000+ people in it, and I was just, he came out and he started singing "Circle of Life," and I was just like, oh god, Darren, why? And then he got into "I Still Think," and I just saw Victoria just lose it. Like, she just started crying because that's her favorite song. And I was just like, okay, here we go. And then he did some other songs, and then he was just like, hi, I'm Darren Criss, and I like to keep introducing myself because I feel like people don't know who I am. And I'm like, well, honey, people just waited in line for 12 hours. I'm pretty sure they know who you are. I'm just saying. And he was like, how many people were dragged here? Girlfriends, boyfriends, husbands, wives, parents. And they were like, yeah. I was like thinking, all the dads in the house say, what am I doing here? I really miss Starkid. It's just like, I played this song a long time ago, and I just, it was, we just came from, he started talking about Starkid for a little bit, and it was just really sad, because at one point, especially when he was singing To Have a Home, he went into some spiel about how he had never been to Dallas, like, to play a show, and he had been here a couple times for something. I came here to Dallas, and you guys are all here, and I'm really floored, and I'm really touched that you guys are here, and you really make it feel like home. And then he started singing To Have a Home, and that song means a lot to me in general. Not because it's Darren, and not because it's, well, kind of because it's Starkid. That song means a lot to me in general. I mean, I want to get a tattoo eventually when I do move to Chicago, because it will happen, okay? When I move to Chicago, I am planning to get, well, maybe, if it's not creepy and it's not totally bankrupting. I want to get a tattoo on each of these wrists, and that says To Have a Home. Because that's what Starkid people in general mean to me. Like, I just feel like being a part of that, and being a part of, like, the whole scene, and being a part of something like that, it's just, that's how I feel. Home. I don't know why I'm going into this spiel. I really don't. And you could tell that he was really happy to be on this kind of tour, to be that well known and that accepted in the world, that he was doing a national tour and having people that he had never even imagined liking him, paying so-and-so much money and spending all this time to come see him. And you could tell that he was really excited about it, but at the same time, you could tell that he really missed his friends in general. I don't know necessarily Starkid. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to pinpoint it, but you could tell that just talking about Starkid and singing Starkid songs, he wished that they were out there with him. And I know, like, in the Judas announcement video, he was in there as a joke going, you guys are doing another show? And I know that it's like a joke that, you know, oh, Darren's missing out now. Ah ha ha ha. Oh, you guys are doing another show without me. Ha ha. Oh well. But I honestly think that he's feeling left out. Like, I know that sounds ridiculous because it's Darren. I mean, look what else he's doing, and he's got the Glee cast now, and those are his buddies, but I really do feel, I got the feeling that he was feeling left out, and he really wished that he was doing this whole big tour with his friends, and bringing them with him instead of them doing a whole show without him. So, I was like, oh. So, I was sad about that. And then, you know, Delaney was with me, and Victoria was with me, and that whole song, and I knew he was going to do Not Alone. I mean, he had to. But he started singing Not Alone, and okay, yeah, we know how much that song means to everybody. So, you know, he started doing that song, and I was just like, ah. And it was backed. It was backed by a full band. That was another thing that got to me. Was he was doing these Harry Potter musical songs and these songs from his EP that were just little itty bitty songs like him on his guitar. And now they were piano. On him and his guitar and his piano. Anyway, he did it for a significantly less amount of people. And now he was being backed by a full concert band with like the lights and the things and the fans and the screaming, and it was a moment. And I'm not even like a original Darren Criss fan. Like, I wasn't back there back when. I'm not that, but even to me, I was just like, oh my god, feels, why, and you could and then, if that wasn't enough, that Victoria was over here crying, and I could see Delaney crying, and I was getting ready to cry. Not really, but, you know, I could have. I just hear this crack in his voice during Not Alone. I heard the crack, and I heard the... and I think we all know what Darren sounds like when he starts to cry during a song because he's Rachel. Kind of. He just has to get emotional during songs and just start crying. And he started crying, and I was just like, no, don't cry! Oh, God, I know it's a moment, but don't cry. Don't do it. Oh, baby, no. Oh. Then he did the encore, and it was Teenage Dream. And then he did the whole Teenage Dream on the piano, and then it went into this whole big whoosh, and it was awesome. And then he did Stutter. He did Stutter for the last song, and Tori flipped out because that is her song, and she freaking loves it, and it was amazing. Yeah. And then it ended, and then we left because I was not going to stick around and try to wait for Darren Criss at the back of the thing. So, yeah. And then it turned out that he went out afterwards anyway, so I probably should have waited. But honestly, I didn't really care that much. See, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I have it in my mind that he's so big now that there's no point in trying to meet him. But, yeah. I'm really glad that we went. I'm really glad that I ended up going. I'm really glad, because I really wasn't going to go. I really didn't, yeah. But Delaney ended up coming, like, Delaney said she wanted to come here to go, so I was like, okay. And I'm really glad we ended up going, because, like I said, I had very low expectations, so they exceeded them to the max. That was pretty much it. Yeah. Yay. Well, I got this t-shirt out of it. It definitely does not make me feel 25 that I have this shirt. That I have Darren Criss's face on my boobs. I think this is like the first fangirl shirt I've ever had too. Like somebody's face. Somebody's face on your body. It's just really awkward. I don't know why I had to add that. I just did. Okay. Bye!